Hi, this is Terry Lee, and this is video 7, which is our last video on our Memory Keeper project. Now, first of all, let me say that I'm not going to show any of the decoration really, because this is a personal project to a friend, so I don't want to show any names or anything like that. But you guys have decorated stuff with pockets and names and things before, so I think it'll be all right that I don't show that. Some of the supplies that I have ready to do this section is I have my Sari Silk, and I sprayed it with my gold spray that makes the shimmer, and then I also used a little bit of blue ink. And I'll tell you how I did this. I have a piece of manila folder, and let me grab it, and I use it when I'm inking, right? I lay the paper on it, right, and then I do the inking, and that way it doesn't mostly get on this board unless I forget. So what I did was, and I don't know if you can see the shimmer on there, what I did was I thought, well, I'll lay it out flat, and then I'll lay the Sari Silk on it, and I'll spray it, and you can see what happened. Even though this is the archival ink and not the distress ink that usually will react with water, it did react with this, and so the blue ink, which is fine because this project is the blue ink, actually the liquid on it allowed it to actually partially color the Sari Silk. So let me see if I got, so if you can see on here, let me lay this out here and then hold it up. If you can see on here, there is blue on there plus the shimmer gold. This started out a cream colored, and while it was wet, I laid it out flat. There is a little bit of wrinklage, but wrinklage, I think I just made up a word. Anyway, now I got the giggles. And so I took this piece and I just made a loop, and then I just cut the loop in half. I guesstimated because I didn't know for sure how many letters and notes and things are going to get stuffed in here. So that way it gave her plenty of silk to work with to keep it tied shut. So if it's too much, then the bow will just be bigger. Okay, so now what we're going to do in this segment is we're going to start gluing everything together. Now, another thing I want to note is when we did our envelope stack on folder B, and I said, oh, just glue this over there because we're just going to glue it to the other sections, I didn't think about the fact that you would still be able to see part of this right here. So we're going to have to make sure we move them over far enough when we glue them together. And I looked at it, and it seems like it's going to be fine. Now, this is this goes on section C, C4, but since we have to do our tie first, I haven't glued that on. I've gone ahead and papered the other sections because we kind of went over it a little bit on B, and I figured you could just carry that over to your, ability to do A and C. And in fact, I think we covered part of A as well. So let me get my sections here. Oh, this is A. A is in my hand. I also have my Velcro dots out. Now, not the black ones, but we're going to use the clear ones. I got some bigger ones because I was going to use them because they said they were going to be clear, and but they're not. The one side is white, and you can see it when you put it down. Plus, they were too big. So we're going to use 4 of these little ones, and hopefully that should be enough. These hook pretty well. And we're going to use that to attach D, which we had to paper on both sides, remember, because it's going to be removable. So you had to be able to paper both sides. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and paper the inside as well, even though or at least the inside on this side, even though our accordion things here to make it the accordion folder is going to keep you from opening it on the way all the way. You can still see pretty far down in here, and I inked it blue and I'm still not happy with it, so I'm probably going to paper it. And I probably should have done that before we did this, because I don't want to try to paper it after we glue them down. So anyway, I'm probably going to make another one like this. There are a few things that, since, as you know, I made this along with you making it. I'd never made this before. It just came out of my head. And so there are a few things that I would change had I prior knowledge to how it was going to work. And one of them, if you remember, would have been to paper everything before we glued it. All of these, I ended up having to get out, you know, a second manila folder, a plain one, and use it to make the patterns. But it would have been much easier having left it open, just papering the sections we need to paper, and then fold it up and glue it. If you're not sure about what I'm talking about with the folding and gluing, then you're going to want to watch, you know, from the beginning, from video 1 and 2 and onward. If you're just now tuning in, this probably all sounds like Chinese or Greek or Spanish or something. Something that is not your native language. Let me put it that way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with A and B. Now, if you remember, we wrote on here, no glue at the top because we want to make a pocket. And we're going to glue A4 to B1. It's like a puzzle. I know you guys love puzzles. All right, so this is what we're going to do. This is the part I was talking about. And if you just glue them straight together with the spines meeting on this side, then when you look at it on this side, then you can see part of the envelope from the top. So what we're going to do first is move the hair, and then we're going to like scooch it over just a little bit, which is fine. It looks fine. But we're going to make sure that we cover all of this. Okay? So what we need to do is we need to glue. Here we go. We're going to put the glue on A because we're not sure exactly how we're going to line it up. So if we put it on B, then we might have glue over here where we don't need it. All right? So remember, no glue at the top. Keep telling yourself that. No glue at the top. No glue at the top. I'm doing this for myself as well. No glue at the top. Let's put our little smunchies in the corners to help us move it around. See, I almost put glue across the top, making the smunchies. No glue across the top. Okay. So now we're going to make our pocket, but we're going to make sure that we attach this far enough over that it covers the envelopes. Okay. I don't want it overhanging, really. I just want it to cover the backs of the envelopes. So now in the future, I would maybe use blue envelopes if you're using this navy, I think it's called Royal Blue and Rose kit. And it was from Dot's Inspiration Shop on Etsy. I kind of got in trouble with a couple places for mentioning whose kit I used, but I think people should get credit for making a really cool kit. So I'm going to keep doing it, and I hope you guys appreciate why. Okay, so now we're going to take C, and we're going to glue it. We're going to glue C1 to B4. B4 is the back. We're going to have to do the same thing we did on A. We're going to have to kind of move it over just a little bit to make sure to cover this edge right here. Okay, You see on here, you see how you can't see it really? There's a little bit of white on the edge. I can go back and hit it with a little bit more ink of the blue and make it a little bit darker. It isn't white, but just make it a little bit darker. Now, the reason there's a paper clip here is it was holding this paper on. Oh, it's holding a pocket on the inside. And I will show you this. I made a really long pocket out of a scrap. And I'm going to put it right here. However, I need to remove the paper clip to do the gluing. So I'm going to remove the paper clip. And for now, I'm just going to stick this in here out of the way. Just for now. Don't let me forget. So now, the one we need to decide where we're going to move it to is C. So C is the one we're going to put the glue on, not B. All right? So once again, we're gluing C1. Please tell me you numbered these like I asked you to. We're going to glue C1 to B4, which means we're going to glue the front of C to the back of B. All right? So here we go. No glue on the top. No glue on the top. Don't forget. Don't let me forget. No glue on the top. And I'm leaving just a little bit at the top. That way it'll be easier to put stuff in and out. Okay. Now we're going to glue this to this, and in this case, we're going to have to switch it this way a little bit. Make sure the bottoms are lined up, and that hair is very persistent, or maybe it's more. And it's not even the dog's hair, it's my hair. I have no excuse. All right, you might want to open this so that you can line it up the way you want. As long as the bottoms are even. And then what we'll do is we'll stagger this last one back a little bit, and it'll look like they're supposed to go back and forth. Okay? So now at this point, we need to glue the ties on. Now I wrote that a little low. May glue them on a little bit higher. So you're going to want to glue one on one side, obviously, and one on the other. You want to make it even. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue on. Get that little ball of glue off there. I'm going to put the glue on. Now, normally you would put super extra lots of glue to make sure to hold this on, but we're going to be gluing paper over the top of it as well. So, and it's going to show through the sari silk, which is fine. You don't need to necessarily glue it all the way to the edge because you're going to put the paper on. You don't want it to show, you know, the glue to show. I'm going to have a drink of coffee here just for a second. I'm having a throat thing again today. Happy holidays to everyone. I know I'm supposed to be on vacay, but this is what I do on vacay. Well, because I can take my time and do it, and I can get ahead a little bit. Then I have time for inspiration. Okay. All right, now I'm going to put you guys on hold, and I'm going to cut a piece of paper for the inside of here, which I forgot to do. And then that will give us a chance for this glue to dry as well. Okay? You are going on hold. Okay, you're off pause. I actually changed my mind. What I decided to do is just to ink the whole thing. So it just looked kind of grungy. Yes, I realize you can see where it says Amazon Basics. If I had thought, I would have folded it the other way. But it's not going to open all the way anyway because we're going to put these accordion expanders on here. I'm going to do this one more time. And I'm not really sure which video we made these in. It might have been 4. It might have been 5. Not sure. I'm winging it. I'm not looking at my list. The memory keeper is actually sitting on top of my script. If you can believe that. Believe it or not. I know most of you are going, or not. All right. To create this is simple. You take your glue that you forgot to put the lid on, and you're lucky it didn't volcano on you. Remember the little edge that sticks out? Got your W. So your point in the middle is going to face outward. Don't go all the way to the bottom. I would suggest going just far enough to cover the brand name, if you did what I did. Accidentally forgot to make that the side. So you're going to put glue on the flat side. But remember, the point is in the middle. And you're going to put the bottoms on both sides. Don't put the bottom and the top and then try to squeeze in the bottom and the top. And make sure you're looking at it and that the point goes on the outside. And they're not supposed to be the whole entire length. Just kind of make sure they're straight. Give the glue a second to dry. Okay, now we're going to turn it around and do the other side. Do it the exact same way. Put the glue on the bottom. Yes, that's the bottom. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Line it up close to the edge. I don't know if you can see that because of the accordion part on top of it. Just glue it to the edge. Okay. Now you're going to glue both of the tops. So you're going to want to make sure you don't have a glue that dries instantly. Now comes the fun part. This one doesn't really seem to want to cooperate. You need to have these flat and then fold this part up. So one of the easiest ways is to hold it down here, closest to where the fold is going to be, and then just fold it down on there and make sure that the tops don't stick out on either side like this one is trying to do. Just if it does, just slide it in a little bit. Sorry about that. I had to hold it close up to see what I was doing. Make sure they're straight. Just kind of hold it down. And now look what you got. Cool, huh? Pretty cool. Okay, now the sari silk should have dried. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. And we're just going to glue this paper on over the top of the silk. Make sure that you don't get anything caught. Oh, that's that pocket sticking out. I better get that out of there. Next thing you know, I'll accidentally glue it in there. Now this is going to be glued on all 4 sides. This is not a pocket of any kind. This is paper to cover it. Oh, look at that. I didn't even realize it lines right up. So we're going to glue all 4 sides of your paper. This is actually going quicker than I thought it was going to go. Glad, very glad. I hope it goes quickly for you as well. One of those little spider webs coming off the glue. Okay, now we're just going to lay it down on here. I'm going to lay mine down to where it lines up. I'll smooch it over just a little bit. So that covers up where you have attached the ties. And you're thinking, but how are we going to glue that to this? But remember, we covered both sides of these because we're going to use the Velcro dots and make this removable. I'm almost tempted. I should have put 2 sets of ties on, because then we could have tied this down and then also tied the front shut. So now that I thought of that, you guys can do it. It's too late for me. Too late. Much, much too late. So now what we want to do is we want to put the Velcro dots. I want mine to have this part to the front and this part to the back. Up to you what you want to do. You want to center it on here. Actually, you want to flip it over for this. You want to center it on here. Then you're going to want to put the hook and loop. Now, I tell you, nope, that one had to run away. I like to stick them together before I take them off. We're only going to need 4. So then you just pull this apart, and they're already stuck together. If you can get your thumb in there. Well, maybe I'll have to lay them on there. There we go. Okay. So now when you take this off, you've already got the glue on both sides. Sometimes they're stuck to each other, so you have to kind of finagle it a little bit. Now, I want mine to have the little dots right here. So I'm just going to center one. They kind of look like the dots that are already all over. That's a good thing. I'm going to take it apart and then peel this one off. Unattach it from the one next door. I put this dot in the center over here. Now, this is the part where you want to decide if you want to have 4 or if you just want to have a third one. These dots hold pretty well. I'm almost considering just a third one in the middle because I've got a line right here in the middle. And it's easier than trying to line this up here. So I think I'm going to do one in the middle. I can always go back and put 3 across the bottom if I need to, if the one doesn't hold. Okay, so we're just going to put our Velcro dots. Both sides are sticky. Our Velcro dot goes here, and then to stick it down and make sure it's all straight, you just flip it over, you line it up, and you stick it down. This is like in Moulin Rouge, where the guy goes, "Everything's going so well." So now you're actually done. Ta-da! So what we have now is the tie that will tie in the front and hold A, B, and C together. Looks like that one moved a little bit. See, this is where you can see the glue, but this is Fabrifix, so it's kind of rubbery, so I'm just going to take my fingernail. I'll go back and scratch that off. All right, so you're going to have this bow. Okay, and then they're going to open it. Let me get this card. All right, so you're going to be able to put an envelope in here. Then when you open it to B, you're actually going to be able to put an envelope between A and B. Then you're going to have an envelope that you can put in inside B. Then when you open it, you can put something inside here. You can put something inside here. Let's see if I can get it. You can put something inside here. And of course, if you're not using it to store letters for someone, then you're going to have lots of places that you can put pockets and tucks and things like that. That's just not what I'm using this for. Okay, so then you have your notepad. Then the same on this side. You have a pocket here. You have a place you can use here. You have a pocket here. When you turn it over this way, there's a pocket in between. Not quite as easy to see, but there's a pocket in between. There's a big pocket here. And then on the back, you have the expandable holder for letters, and it's removable. Okay, and then this is the best part, and I saved it for last. Since you have the Velcro dots, if you wanted to, you could make more of the A or C sections and glue it on right over the little dots. Just glue it on. Add Velcro dots on it once you've glued it on the new back. Add this back on. So that means it's expandable to however deep you want it to be. Ta-da! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oops. Okay. So that's it. That's our memory keeper. Of course, I'm going to put some stuff on the front, you know, for my friend's daughter. And I'm just not sharing that on the tutorial because it isn't pertinent. And so there we go. And so that's it for this video. And that gives us the whole complete project. And I will see you in the next video, which will be the next project. And that will be a second for you and a day for me. Bye-bye.